Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray. We're just plain living here.
And I'm Jim Buller. And Julia is our person who kind of does the cameras, all that kind of stuff. And right before we went on there, she said, "This is so exciting. Now calm down." You know.
She's our feel-good girl.
Yeah, our feel-good girl. You know, make you feel good before you
go on the air.
Before you go on the air, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
How you doing, Mr. Fuller?
I'm doing good. It's good to be here today. Unfortunately, I'm filling in for Peggy today, and who lost a member of her family.
Peggy lost her sister,
right.
Joan, this week, and Joan Ballard, and a woman of great talent that was in this community for many, many years. Teaching music and working in the school system, and just a very, very talented and wonderful woman. And
absolutely.
Peggy's sister.
Yeah.
And we send our regrets and our best wishes and prayers and respect to Peggy and her family, and Joan and her family, Joan's family, and have a good trip, Joan.
Absolutely.
You did well. I'm sure she'll continue to do well wherever her spirit lands, and it'll land in a good place.
Yeah,
so,
you're right. Absolutely.
She was like Peggy, though. She's very, very talented, very...
it kind of runs in that family, doesn't
driven.
It? Yeah.
Well, you know, General Burton spoke yesterday, and he talked about the family history of the Jernigans.
Yeah.
And where they came from, and that's the kind of people they were.
Yeah.
Hard-working, honest, God-fearing people.
Yeah.
The same people that you know, the ones that came into this country back when we all were immigrants. Every one of us was an immigrant, other than the American Indians, and they probably came from somewhere at some point.
I always enjoyed talking to Peggy because she grew up kind of like I did when I was a kid, you know. No indoor plumbing, no electricity, and that kind of stuff.
Lived on a farm.
And in retrospect, I'm glad I got to live like that.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people left that are.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. And the Jernigans were landowners over around Beech Grove for over 200 years.
Yeah.
So that's a long run.
Yeah, it is.
On a piece of dirt.
Sure it is.
You know, black dirt. People came here to farm.
Yeah.
And it's what they did. So we want to, again, our condolences to Peggy and their family, and best wishes to them. And Peggy's tough.
Yes, she is.
Peggy's a tough gal.
Yeah.
So she was doing okay. And of course, she has family in town, so that's why she's not here today, is to be with her family.
Right.
So, how you doing? You all right?
I'm doing good. You were telling me something pretty interesting today, or that you saw last night. Dustin Lynch was on.
Yes, last night was the Country Music Television Awards.
Right.
Which is, somebody said, well, country music has an award show every week. No, they've got the AMC's, American Music, or ACM's, American Country Music Award.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Then you got the CMT, which is Country Music Television, which is an award for the song. Yes, but it's the only reason it's an award for the song is because the song led to making a brilliant video.
Yeah.
It's really an award for the video.
Right.
And Dustin was up last night for the song that he did with it was a collaboration, not as a duo, because it's something that not someone that sings with you all the time. The young lady that he sang with is a Canadian artist, and they sang a song about thinking about you, and it was #1 for, 6 weeks.
Right.
On the charts, and but Carrie Underwood and Jason Aldean took that category. But it was, as far as I know, that's the first time Dustin's been.
I think you're right.
Nominated.
I think you're right.
And he presented last night. He was one of the presenters, which he's done several times. But glad to see him. He's a Tullahoma boy, a successful young man, making his way. He's got his tour going right now, wide open. And then on the other hand, we have Hunter Wokanowski over in Franklin County, who is knocking it dead on American Idol.
Yeah.
Very well could win that thing.
Absolutely. I'd say she's one of the favorites. And, she actually works in the music business. And I understand plays some venues around this area. She also plays some venues in Nashville.
Sure.
They were talking about her having stage presence.
That's all she's done. I mean, we've had her on this show twice.
Yeah.
And then she's been on the country show twice.
Yeah.
South Jackson Goes Country.
So she's quite well known around here. Yeah. So.
And Peggy and I looked at each other, and Peggy said, "That girl's a star."
Yeah, right.
And obviously, she is.
Right. So. And you and Peggy have seen a lot of stars over the years.
And it's obvious when you see that show and watch that show that this is not her first rodeo.
Oh no! I mean, she handles herself like a pro.
She knows how to work it.
Yeah.
And she's got Luke Bryan has just gone crazy over her.
Oh yeah.
So with that said, I hope she wins. She certainly will continue to go forward. But you need to remember to vote, because from now on, this is part of this deal is fan driven.
Yeah.
So you find a way. You can TikTok, Wick Walk, Jam, Bing Bang, or whatever you do, and vote for Hunter Girl music. I don't know. Do you do all that stuff?
I'm sorry to say
Bing
that.
Bang? Do you Bing Bang or Wing Walk?
I probably could, but I might need some help. Somebody to show me how to get started here. Having said that, our other partner, one of our other partners, Pam, who's not quite as old as John and I, but she's not real young, but she's all over that.
She TikTok.
Yeah, all that stuff.
That stuff.
And she's a big fan of this young lady you're talking about.
Oh yeah. Well, they over there in the same county.
Yeah.
They live over there in that Franklin County.
To tell you the truth, talking about having stage presence, which they were bragging on her about, and of course she would, but nothing's going to give you that like playing one night stands and doing that kind of stuff. When you do it all the time, it's just second nature to you.
Well, and you talk about the stars. Oh, look at there, he just came out of nowhere. She just came out of nowhere and our star. No.
Yeah.
Those people that have made it that far have been playing most of them their whole life.
Yeah.
And been on little stages and stages like South Jackson. And, that's why last night during the board meeting, it was the annual meeting where the nonprofits make their pitch for money. Support the nonprofits in this town. South Jackson Civic Center. Without our little stages like that, we've got a young girl, Lauren, that's going to, I call her Little Ethel Merman. They were on the show last week. Rogers, she's been chosen to go to one of the most prestigious stage show schools in the United States of America.
Yeah, no kidding.
And our high school has numerous people that go to these things. Well, guess where they get started? On that small stage at South Jackson, or on a little stage, the MAC over in Manchester, at the high school. Keep those things vibrant and alive, because without them, there's no way to create the big stars that win the awards.
Right.
Because that's where they start out.
Yeah. Gives them great experience too.
Oh, it does. And there's nothing like seeing somebody and you can tell almost in an instant whether they're stage people or they're not stage people.
Yeah.
They either automatically just flow into it and it's like they're just born to be there, or they're terrified.
You think we were born to be there, John?
Pretty much. We just weren't born to be there at a bigger level. We were born medium. But without the medium people.
I've often wondered about that because I remember one time when we were doing one of the telethons, somebody asked me right before the show came on the air, said, "Are you not nervous about this?" And I thought about it and I thought, well, no. Why would I be nervous about this, you know? And maybe that's stupidity. You know, maybe you're not fully grasping what's fixing to happen, you know.
It's all your buddies.
It's all you, and I remember saying that. I'm in this room here with all my buddies and almost everybody in here. Why would I be nervous?
I don't see them every day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you know what? This is Holy Week.
Yes.
And this is we'll be leading up. Monday, Thursday is 2 days from now. Then we'll have Good Friday. Then we'll have Easter Sunday. Mm-hmm. And you know what happens during this time of year?
Well, the Easter Bunny comes at some point.
Easter Bunny shows up
at some point, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have heard through the grapevine, through the vine.
Yeah.
I was roaming around downtown and I heard some vibes.
Yeah.
Coming out of Trader's Bank over there,
yeah.
that the Easter Bunny was going to show up at Trader's Bank.
Oh, no kidding.
On Friday. Good Friday.
All right. Yeah.
Easter Bunny's going to be over there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just couldn't believe that. But, you know, that I went in the bank the other day, and they do an outstanding job at Trader's Bank. Number one, of taking care of your money and helping you as a customer, but they decorate that place for just about everything.
Every occasion, they have a tree in there, and it becomes.
It never goes down.
It never goes down, and it transforms from Christmas to Valentine's to
St. Patrick's Day to Easter,
and
it just keeps on going.
Yeah, right.
And there's always a cookie or something you can have, or some candy, or something in there. So
I assume that concept is catching on in Tullahoma, because there's one in my house like that too.
Oh well, it doesn't have anything to do with your wife working at Trader's.
Season to season to season. Well, I think the one at the house stemmed from back when during the pandemic first started, and people were depressed and down about everything because they couldn't get out and go anywhere.
Yeah.
So the Christmas tree in our house in 2020 stayed up until about April, I think, or something. Never was taken down.
Yeah.
Because it made everybody feel good. So.
Well, of course it does.
So anyway.
So last week I started reading from my Easter omnibus, and I'm out of time right now, but I'm going to read one more piece here, and this is called. This is about the. Last week we read the of Burrow and Boughs and Two Pieces of Wood. This piece is about the sound of salvation. There were many sounds on the road to Calvary, the rustle of palm leaves beneath his sandal feet, the sounds of betrayal uttered in Gethsemane, the cheers of the crowd when they set Barabbas free, the sound of sobs and weeping from those lining the streets as the weight of the cross he bore drove him to his knees, the sound of the hammer as they nailed him to the cross, the sound as he begged forgiveness for all that were lost, the sound of the storm God sent to end this deed, the sounds of fears, the sound of desperation's pleas, the sound of loved ones' whispers as they walked him to the tomb. And the Christ they loved and worshiped was sealed in a room. Then between the sounds of prayers and tears, his voice found its way in. Above the grief and sorrow, they heard his words again, I will rise again. So they went to the tomb on the third day and heard the sound of salvation in the silence of emptiness when the stone was rolled away. Happy Easter, folks. We'll be back after these messages.
The Bookshelf in Tullahoma is the fundraising arm of the Coffee County Literacy Council. Since 1988, the Literacy Council's goal and purpose has been to support and promote adult basic education in Coffee County. We enable individuals to complete their high school equivalency exam, which helps them get better jobs or continue into higher education. The Bookshelf at 114 Southwest Atlantic Street in Tullahoma is where we sell used books, which are donated to us by the community. Come see us, bring your books to donate, and join us as you find every genre of books that you can imagine.
Macarthur Manor Assisted Living is passionate about creating better experiences for our Manchester seniors. Our residents describe us in a few words.
Welcoming.
When you walk through the doors at Macarthur Manor, we'll treat you like family.
Caring.
Through high standards of personalized care, we help residents live life to its fullest.
Engaging.
With a wide range of life-enriching activities, there is something for everyone at Macarthur Manor. With our residents and staff now vaccinated, call us today to schedule your safe and personalized tour.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good, nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I'm always proud to have this young lady on the show with me. That's Robin Dunn, and Robin does a whole lot of stuff, but one of the things she does is she's an alderman of the city of Tullahoma, duly elected, and works very hard on the things that are thrown her way, pushed her way, shoved her way, or chosen to be brought her way.
Right.
To work for us, the citizens of Tullahoma. And you have one of your special events is getting ready to happen, and that's why you're here today.
That's right. Thank you very much for having me on
you're
the show.
always welcome.
So we are having our Earth Day celebration this year on Monday, April 18th, from 3 to 7. And it's going to be at South Jackson Civic Center along with the farmers market. So this was something, the last time we had the Earth Day was prior to COVID, and that was the most popular part of our Earth Day celebration. Was we had this little mini farmers market, and so we thought, well, let's just go with what's already happening and encourage more people to shop locally and support our farmers market the best we can.
Yeah.
So we're going to have an Earth Day celebration. It's going to be great. We're going to have composters to give away. We've got rain barrels. A lot of those rain barrels are already reserved, but you can still go on Eventbrite.com and reserve one. We've also got some grocery bags, the reusable bags, and then we're going to have music. So we've got some fiddle players coming to that. So it should be really fun, lots of fun. And of course, you know, there'll be popcorn at the South Jackson and food trucks, and of course all the plants and the vegetables and things that, and it might just be leafy vegetables now. It's pretty early in the season.
Yeah, and you know what I've always found interesting and fun about going to that event, which is usually on a Saturday morning down at City Park at the high school, is there's a lot of people there, like the Tennessee, with the state of Tennessee, who are involved in either conservation or forestry or farming or whatever, and you can learn a lot of really cool things at that event.
And I will, I know I will miss some of the people who will be there, so my apologies for that, but we do have the Highland Rim Bike Club is going to be there, and they're always obviously promoting alternative transportation and biking.
Right.
We've got the animal shelter will be there with a few dogs, you know, and I think that's very important that we adopt some of the animals that we already have. You went to our TED Talk, our TEDx Tullahoma. One of our speakers, or a pair of our speakers, Ashley Lang and Skip Bevins, are a part of the Regenerative Farm in Fayetteville, and they will also have a booth at Farmers Market, so or at the Earth Day celebration. So I definitely hope that everybody comes and just learns what their program is all about. So, and then Interlocal Solid Waste Authority is going to be talking to folks about how to compost correctly. It's a fantastic way to reduce the amount of waste that you have, and really helps the city, which is why we're promoting it. That one of our largest expenditures is our public works program. So the more that people can do on their own property, it helps all of us. So certainly it's really important.
And that is very important. Again, you know, if you don't recycle, start.
Absolutely.
I fought it for a long time.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know why. And I decided that, you know, well, this is really, we all really need to do this.
Yes, and I think there's been...
You know, you're looking at Nashville right now because Murfreesboro has told them, we're not taking your trash anymore.
And if people think that that's not going to affect this city, you're wrong. We're definitely going to be feeling those effects. So the more that we can do, again, on our own property, reusing what we already have. Our recycling program is certainly driven by the metals. So canned, you know, if you're already drinking sodas and things out of a plastic bottle, please switch to aluminum. That's how we're funding our recycling program. And obviously the easiest thing that you can do is cardboard. Even if you don't have a container to put it in, if you just stack your cardboard next to your trash can, our public works folks will come and pick it up, and that's really important. We're a very small community to have curbside recycling, and if we want to continue to utilize it, then we definitely want people to participate.
All right, now I want you to explain something to me. You just did something to me that I quit using cans to use plastic, to recycle plastic.
Oh, yeah.
When I started recycling.
Yeah, yes, let's talk about that just briefly.
Yeah, tell me why I need to use cans.
An aluminum can, that same aluminum has been in circulation. As long as we keep it in circulation, 100% of that can be reutilized. Now, if you use a plastic container, really, the next time it's recycled, you're only able to salvage maybe 5 to 50% of that product. Eventually, all plastics will be landfilled. And of course, that's something that we definitely need to be looking at as an entire global community. That's a problem. We've definitely got, there's plastics. I read recently that people are finding plastics in human lungs. It's a problem. So if you're using plastic, whatever you can do to reduce your dependency on that is really helpful. So if you can switch to either glass or metals, that's going to help all of us until we have some of our manufacturers take more responsibility and switch over themselves.
Well, and what that does is that reduces our dependency on oil.
Exactly. Yes.
And, you know,
yes.
that's something
product.
petroleum products
Yes.
need. We don't need to they weren't meant for us to use. They just
Exactly.
became easy to find and
Right.
easy to burn.
Right.
And people have become extremely wealthy because they have it.
Right.
And are continuing to be extremely wealthy because of it. Is the only reason we're still using it, because we should not be using it right now. There are other things
Yes.
we can do.
And I think we have come into this stage in society where we're like, well, I'm just one person, I can't do anything. And we certainly we cannot think that way. And even if you can't buy everything non-plastic, there's certain things like I can't buy milk without getting plastic, like that's just the way it is. But what you can do, when you do have a choice, then utilize that choice and empower yourself. We can do a whole lot right here in
Well,
Tulsa.
our manufacturers need to jump into this deal as well, and we
Of
bought
course.
milk in jars forever.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We buy. Why can't you buy milk in a cardboard container? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's where it was before.
Yeah.
In a cardboard container.
Yes. Yes.
Let's go back and put it back in a cardboard. We don't need plastic.
Yeah. Well,
but we do
yeah.
need. I'm interested. I'm glad
Sure.
to know that, because I don't drink colas and stuff like that much anymore anyway.
Good.
But when I do, and I just drink. I don't buy a bottle of water. Our tap water in this
It's the
town
best.
is good enough.
I
to
had
drink.
someone who recently moved to Tullahoma, and she talked about how, like, she would just sit at that refrigerator and drink the water. The water in Tullahoma is fantastic.
It's wonderful. So, Robin Dunn, thank you for
Thank
being
you,
with us,
John.
and we will
got a little off topic.
support Earth Day.
Please come. Please come.
Use aluminum instead of plastic. Take your own bags to the grocery store, and styrofoam is even more expensive now. Fran and I talked about it last night. We were discussing this very thing. We think you should start taking a Tupperware container with you to your takeout store.
Sure.
Be it Get More Subs or
Yes, and
Chick-fil-A or whatever, and have them put your stuff in your own container that you can take home and rewash and use again.
And I believe Get More Subs is one of those folks that does recognize take-home things. I know Fuel So Good. If you come in with your own cup, he'll fill it up,
Sure.
and he'll give you a bit of a discount so that you're not having to utilize his paper cups. I believe Publix is one that if you take your container, they'll put your deli meat in that. So it's a matter of just being informed and asking folks, and that's a really good point.
Right.
And I think a lot of folks are really willing to,
do that.
Yeah, so just ask.
Push.
Just ask.
We
Yeah.
just need to push,
That's all
don't
we can do. Yeah.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for what you do.
I appreciate
for our
it.
community.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back after these messages.
What does caring look like? This is what caring looks like.
This is setting an example for others.
This is rising to the challenge.
This is doing what works.
This is doing my part.
This is doing your part.
Each of us individually.
Acting as one. Keeping your distance, no matter how awkward it may seem.
This is wearing a mask.
Over your nose and mouth.
Like we are.
Keeping our distance.
Each wearing masks.
Not under your chin.
Not above your head. Not in your hand.
But over your nose and mouth.
This is listening to the expert. If you'll just
wear one of these.
Caring makes community.
And this is what caring looks like.
Until COVID-19 is no longer a threat. Until COVID-19 is no longer a threat.
Until COVID-19 is no longer a threat.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
I feel like we're safe at Parkview.
There's somebody on staff all the time. So if you need help, help is there.
We are surrounded with people that are looking after us and taking care of us.
The staff is wonderful and always available. We feel so safe and secure here.
I feel safe at Parkview all the time.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're pleased to have joining us on the set now Lynn Brunfield, who is the Executive Director of the Tullahoma Partners for Healing. And Lynn's here today, I think, to talk about this big party she's going to have. But first of all, I want you to tell us just a little bit about what do you do at Partners for Healing and what that organization is about.
Sure. Yeah, so Partners for Healing, the celebration we're having is for our 20th birthday. So been around for 20 years, if you can believe that.
Unbelievable, yeah.
So started 20 years ago by Fran Markham and Bill Starnes, who felt there was a need for folks who were working but uninsured to get health care. So we are basically mostly a primary care clinic, but we're also providing a fair amount of mental health services these days. We have a mental health nurse practitioner that comes one day a week and a counselor that comes one day a week. So we're able to offer some kind of expanded services from what we have in the very beginning, although they've had a counselor for many years. So always known that was really important. We can provide these primary care services. We have free medications we can give. And we work with folks like Vanderbilt and St. Thomas to do referrals for folks for more complicated things.
I see. Okay. So for a lot of people in our area, I'm sure that's their really only source of primary care to get them started in the healthcare system if something's wrong.
Yeah, you think of a lot of people like self-employed folks, contractors, hairdressers, those kind of things, right? Where the marketplace may be pretty expensive for them. So we're an option for folks like that, and obviously we like our patients to graduate. We call it, they can get insurance because there's things we just can't do. But we are happy to help folks who kind of maybe are in a gap, right? I haven't quite started this job, or my insurance hasn't started yet. So there's a lot of different kind of folks that we hope we can help.
It's hard to imagine that it's been around for 20 years, and I have to say it was a great idea 20 years ago, and probably even more so now, because there's probably a lot of more people dependent on that now than there might have been when it first started.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately some of these mental health services are needs that maybe we can help with that are really hard, that really necessary, right? Between COVID and everything else going on in our world these days, there's a lot of folks who need just a little extra help.
Is mental health services something that the organization has always provided, or is it something fairly new for you guys?
So the counselor has been there almost since the beginning. I believe the first counselor started in 2003, but these nurse practitioner services, we started almost 2 years ago. We're working with Centerstone, actually. So we partner with Centerstone and have their nurse practitioner in our building, which I think is really important. I think it's a comfortable place for folks to be. It's not some other strange place they're not familiar with. So I think it's really been great. And the coordination that our primary care provider and our mental health provider can have to make sure medications aren't interacting with each other, and we're really taking care of the whole person.
Okay. And like anything else, this is a great organization, but it provides basically free services, I think. Is that correct?
Right. Everything is free to the patient.
Right. So somehow or other you have to figure out how to pay for that.
Yes, we do. Now, we do get some funding for the state. The state, when they didn't expand Medicare, they created a program called Safety Net, and we get a small amount of money for each visit we see from the state, which is a big help. But we still do need help from the community occasionally.
Right. And you've got a fundraiser coming up, I believe. And this sounds like a big-time fun event. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're really excited. Like I say, Fran Markham was one of our founders, so I think it's quite appropriate that she was kind enough to open, she and Dan were kind enough to open their home and their facility there to let us have the picnic out there. So we're really excited. A lot of folks kind of maybe wonder what are behind those gates back there. And the beautiful lake. So, by the way, there's a waterfall back there.
Yeah.
And just a really interesting history. When the Knights of Pythias had the orphanage there, we're going to have a little map that kind of shows what the property used to look like, and the widows' cabins were here, and what kinds of things. They generated their own electricity there from that little dam.
Yeah, I understand
and
that.
One of the items that we'll have either as part of the VIP package or from an auction would be these insulators, those glass insulators that were actually used on the facility. Yeah. Another one of the items will be bricks from the Tullahoma Foundry. Didn't realize there was a Tullahoma Foundry.
Yeah, there was.
But bricks from the Tullahoma Foundry that say Tullahoma will be available as part of the VIP package or from the auction. So excited about those to have, and the Markhams were kind enough to donate those to us.
Yeah.
So we'll really want this to be a family-friendly event. Some of our events we've had in the past up at Jack Daniel's were more kind of adult-focused events, but we really like to get families out there and have the opportunity for those families to meet our staff and talk a little bit about what Partners does. I mostly want them to have fun, but I would like to have an opportunity to tell folks about what we do and why we're there and what we're trying to do for the community.
Yeah, and you're talking about the history of that organization. It's pretty rich history of things that went out. Unfortunately, I'm old enough that I remember a lot of that, but it's certainly worth the money to go out there and be able to enjoy that and learn about it. And it's a great event. It's coming up April the 30th, I think.
Yes, sir. So you can buy tickets online. The individual ticket is $40. We created a family pack that was 2 adults and 2 children for $85. And then we have a VIP package, which gets you seating under the tent and a couple of drink coupons and food. So we'll have the Crazy Daisy's food truck out there, and she's putting together a lot of interesting stuff for us. And she'll have ice cream and maybe even some margarita slushies if you're lucky.
Yes.
Just really excited to we've got bounce houses, and we have a caricature artist. The Ascend Federal Credit Union provided a caricature artist, so families can get a caricature while they're out there. So a lot of interesting things, I think.
And it's such a great place to visit, and the Markhams are so gracious to be helping out with this thing, as they do so many charities in our community. So how much are the tickets?
Again, $40 for an individual and $85 for a family, 2 adults and 2 kids.
Okay.
You can get them online at partnersforhealing.org, or you can come by the office, and we're happy to sell you some.
And your Partners for Healing office in Tullahoma is where?
109 West Blackwell.
Okay. All right. So
you can see Jackson Street from there, kind of across the street from the Fast Pace.
Right. Okay. And you're open at the facility 5 days a week?
We're not. We're only there 4 days a week.
4 days a week.
4 days a week, and then we do one Saturday a month.
I see. Okay. So if an individual has health issues, can they just drop in? They need an appointment? How does that work?
What we do have an application process. So the applications are available on our website, or you just pop by and we can hand you one or help you fill it out while you're sitting there. And the one thing I would encourage folks is, don't wait till you're sick.
Yeah.
Come establish yourself with us when you're not sick, such that when you are sick, it'll be much easier to walk in the door and be taken
good
care of.
advice. Absolutely. Okay.
For most folks, right? Whether or not you have insurance.
Absolutely. And you can also buy these tickets online at the Partners for Healing website. Did we tell them how to get to that website?
It's partnersforhealing.org. So that's the only thing.
Okay. All right. Great event coming up on April the 30th, and something that you're really going to enjoy. It's well worth the price of the ticket. And plus, you'll be doing a great service to your community and to those who might be a little less fortunate than you, not have health insurance and that kind of thing. Great thing. So much. Thank you so much for your part in doing
thanks
that.
For having
really,
me today.
and we appreciate it very much. We'll be right back right after this.
Clayton's has been Tullahoma's shoe store for over 120 years, and Florence Hall continues that tradition today. We're the only shoe store in town that starts with measuring your foot to make sure you get the perfect fit in a quality shoe. That includes narrow through wide widths for men, women, and children. Clayton Shoes, the family shoe store you'll love.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
Hi, my name's Bobby Carter, and I'm asking for your vote in the Circuit Court Judgeship of Coffee County, 2nd Division. I grew up in Tullahoma. I attended the Citadel and the University of Tennessee Law School. After that, I served my country as an officer in the United States Navy JAG Corps. Since then, I've been a trial lawyer in Coffee County for the last 25 years. I feel that I have the legal and life experiences to protect the citizens of this county over the next 8-year term. I would appreciate your vote in the May 3rd Republican primary. Thank y'all.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Friends, it's time for a change. Hello, I'm Scott Hansard, Republican candidate for Coffee County Road Superintendent. Our highway department is one of the largest departments in Coffee County government, with 640 miles of roads and bridges and budget of $3 million. It's time we start applying for grants. It's time we start using modern road building and maintaining techniques. Friends, it's time for a change. Vote Scott Hansard, Republican candidate for Coffee County Road Superintendent.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and we are back to something that is a great event in this community that hasn't gone on in a couple of years. That is piping on the green, and we have Smith and Jones. I would say Smith and Jones, but Smith and Smith.
Correct.
Here.
Smith and Smith.
Smith and Smith, and these are the executive director of the Scottish Society?
I am president.
There you go.
And my husband Mark is vice president, so we kind of tag team
Well, that's good.
Yes, contribute.
That's good. And we met at the Burns Dinner.
We did.
And had an enjoyable conversation with
Yes,
two
we
lovely
did.
people. And you're
you.
relatively new to the community, so to speak.
Yes.
How many
yes.
years now? Couple?
About 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years. It'll
2
be
years.
2 years in
and
July.
came in from?
The Asheville, North Carolina area.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And saw what was going on around here and decided to get involved?
Absolutely. And ironically, the Highland Rim Scottish Society, which we're now members of and involved in, is part of the reason we moved here. Mark has a long lineage and many Scots back there in his line, and genealogy is an interest of his, and so it was wonderful to come to a community that celebrates Scottish culture and heritage.
And embraces.
Yes, yes.
And I was very surprised and glad to know that the band that played at the Burns Dinner,
yes,
who were outstanding, is going to be at the piping.
Yes. In fact, they're the headliners, and it's the Jacobites by name, and they will be our headliners this year. We also have other music. We have the Piper Jones Band, we have the Triquetra Troupe, which are dancers, and we have the Secret Commonwealth, and I think there's one other that I'm drawing a blank on at the moment, but lots of Celtic music, lots of pipers, lots of food, lots of crafts, and all on the grounds of the Celtic Cup. and they will have a food booth as well called the Medieval Mugs, so you'll be able to get turkey legs and fish and chips and brighties and all sorts of good stuff. Yes, whatever, as well as shortbread. Don't forget about shortbread. Everybody loves that. So, yeah. So the event will be on April 23rd, Saturday. It starts at 8 a.m. and will go all the way through to 6 p.m. The opening ceremonies will start at 9 a.m. with the Kilted Honor Guard and also Tullahoma's a cappella singers. And the music will start off from there, and it's a free event open to the public. There's also free parking at the Grundy Street Church of Christ at 301 East Grundy Street. And of course, the Celtic Cup Coffee House is our host, and that's located at 106 North Anderson Street. We are really grateful that this can be a free event through the generosity of many of our sponsors and individuals in the community, such as, I have to think of, the engineering group. I'm going to use my cheat sheet rather than to mess it up. Here we have a cheat sheet because I do not want to get this wrong.
When it's paying someone homage.
Yes, indeed. We need to do that. So some of our sponsors are Oliver Little Gibson Engineering, Citizens Tri-County Bank, Clan Cunningham, and Trinity Clinical Research. Of course, our music sponsor is South Jackson Civic Center. Excuse me. So they're allowing all of this wonderful music to take place. And of course, our hosts are the Celtic Cup Coffee House. And all of this is presented by the manpower and the membership of the Highland Rim Scottish Society.
Excellent.
Thank you. Yes.
This is fun, folks. And one of the things that wasn't brought out that is always an enjoyable thing to me is it is also a teaching experience. For dancing, usually there is a scholarship that is given by the society or several scholarships for young entertainers to go learn how to dance Celtic dancing and music playing and that. But there's also on the day of the show, there's usually a blacksmith or two there. And there's weavers there with spinning wheels, and you can learn a whole lot of the things that took place back in the day when they made their own swords and they forged their own steel and made their own horseshoes and stuff like that in the community where they lived. There was a blacksmith.
Right.
And it's so much fun to see that. And it's amazing, I know, to a lot of the younger children that come, because there's little tokens of things that they can buy that represents a little piece of cloth that was being spun, or a nail, or a hook or something that they can buy that this blacksmith made right there in front of their very eyes. And it's very, very educational. Not just for the young people, but for old cats like me too.
Absolutely. You can be exposed to a lot of music that you may not be familiar with. A lot of bagpiping, which is, I don't know, it stirs the soul in a way that nothing else does. You do not have to be of Scottish origin to come and enjoy it, and nor do you have to be of Scottish origin to be involved in the Highland Rim Scottish Society. It's open to anyone who's interested in Scottish culture and history and arts and literature and music and food, and whatever information you bring with you is you can contribute and help others, share your knowledge, and that's part of what Piping on the Green is all about, is to bring the culture and heritage of Scotland to the community in such a way that's fun for people of all ages. So yeah, there's music, there's dancing, there's crafts, there's food, and just a lot of good entertainment, good clean fun.
It is, and if I remember correctly, you can have a pint or two there if you'd like to have a pint.
I suspect that that's true, yes. I've heard that there are beverages available
There are beverages
to go along with the
available.
food, yes.
Go along with the food,
Right,
and
right.
it's just it's a wonderfully enjoyable day.
Family friendly too.
Excuse me?
Family friendly.
Family friendly, and we're always searching for good weather on that day.
Yes. So yes, we are all hoping for wonderful weather on Saturday, April 23rd, because nobody wants to freeze and nobody wants to get rained on. So hopefully it'll be warm and dry.
But you know what's kind of fun about that event is a lot of times it's this time of year. You'll get over there in the morning and it'll be pretty cool over there in the morning.
Yes, it may be a little chilly, but that's probably better than anything else. And we will go on rain or shine. It doesn't matter. So you must be prepared for anything.
But everybody will be sitting up, walking around, and they're drinking cups of coffee and buying some pastries inside. And I want to remind you while you're there to go inside. It's busy. Take the time, if you haven't been inside the Celtic Cup, to wait your turn and go in and just look at the wonderful products they have on the shelf and the different things they do, because they do a great deal in this community in support of many good things.
Yes.
And we want to thank them for what they do. And thank you for coming and from Carolina all the way over to Middle Tennessee.
We love it.
Bringing yourself here.
Thank
and
you.
sharing your time and your talent to keep something wonderful in front of the public.
Thank you. We love it here. We really do. We're happy to live in Tullahoma.
We are glad you're here.
Thank you, John.
And keep playing backgammon.
Oh,
These
yes,
are
yes, we
backgammon
play
buddies
backgammon
right
in the
here.
morning. Yeah, it's cutthroat some days, yeah.
Okay. Go to Piping on the Green, folks. We'll be right back after these messages.
The Bookshelf in Tullahoma is the fundraising arm of the Coffee County Literacy Council. Since 1988, the Literacy Council's goal and purpose has been to support and promote adult basic education in Coffee County. We enable individuals to complete their high school equivalency exam, which helps them get better jobs or continue into higher education. The Bookshelf at 114 Southwest Atlantic Street in Tullahoma is where we sell used books, which are donated to us by the community. Come see us. Bring your books to donate and join us as you find every genre of books that you can imagine.
Macarthur Manor Assisted Living is passionate about creating better experiences for our Manchester seniors. Our residents describe us in a few words.
Welcoming.
When you walk through the doors at Macarthur Manor, we'll treat you like family. Caring. Through high standards of personalized care, we help residents live life to its fullest. Engaging. With a wide range of life-enriching activities, there is something for everyone at Macarthur Manor. With our residents and staff now vaccinated, call us today to schedule your safe and personalized tour.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good, nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, I remember when this job used to be so easy, and my friend Winston Brooks used to come by, and he had a very simple title then, and I could deal with it, you know, without any problem. Today, I'm going to be a little bit challenged because Winston Brooks is here, and Winston is now the executive director of the Tullahoma Area Economic Development Council. Corporation, okay. And with him today is the Tullahoma City Planner, and her name is Mary Samaniego.
Yes, it
okay,
is.
All right. That was
You're off to a good start.
Yeah, that was the hardest part over there. You know, and now that we've got past that, I don't need to really know anything from here on out because you guys are here to talk about the 2040
Comprehensive plan,
which is kind of a big deal in our community. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having us. It's great to be here.
It's always fun when you're here, Winston.
Well, thank you so much.
I'm sorry we didn't get to do weather, but maybe we'll get to that before the end.
Well, it's going to be wet. Bring your raincoat today.
Okay.
Nice tomorrow. The Think Tullahoma 2040 is what we've branded our 20-year growth plan for the city. And so we've just got the draft copy of that on April 1st, and we are trying to get that out to the community as much as possible and get community feedback on this plan. And so it's really important because this is a community plan. It was built on community input. And the process, I think I thought about this morning, we started about a year ago, found the consulting firm, and then last year during the summer we started with the community meetings. We met with hundreds of people, stakeholders, community meetings, mailed out announcements to every household, had a community survey with over 1,000 people. And so through that input, then we worked with these planning and consultant engineers, and they've created the Think Tullahoma 2040 plan. And it's really exciting to read. I think the community is going to be really excited when they see it, and we really want to get their feedback to make sure that when we present this to the Planning Commission for adoption and on to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, that we've got the best plan we can put forward and everyone will feel comfortable. Because while it sounds like a long time, 20 years is going to go by fast.
I can attest to that, to tell you the truth, because Tullahoma was kind of a different community 20 years ago when I was here then.
Yeah. That's right.
I was also here 20 years before that, so anyway.
Well, we've got to manage the growth and control it, and Mary could talk a little bit about some of the examples that are in there in terms of the detail of some of the new concepts that are coming forward.
I imagine your job's pretty important to this big plan here, being the city planner.
Yeah, I would be probably in charge of making sure it gets implemented and seeing it through. And once the plan is adopted, there would be kind of a domino effect of things that would have to be implemented. The main thing would be we would adopt new zoning maps and new zoning regulations to implement that plan. Mm-hmm. So as an example, if the plan said that there was sidewalks in certain areas, we would have to build that into the code. So if you have a new development or a new subdivision on one of these designated routes for a sidewalk, that would have to be in the code in order for us to legally require it.
So this could actually develop into a lot of work for the city planner to make that happen and make sure those codes facilitate this.
Yep, I'm ready for it though.
Yeah.
It's actually very exciting to be at the beginning of the stage of a new plan for a community and see it all the way through implementation.
When we talk about things that are going to happen 20 years from now, it's pretty progressive when you think on behalf of this community to be looking that far out, because a lot of times maybe we don't do that. We just sort of make it up as we go. But this is a pretty bold project, I think.
That's right, and so this project really gave us the ability to stop take account of where we're at, and so it looks at existing conditions and where we want to go and how do we want to manage. There's a lot of people interested in investing in Tullahoma. A lot of people are going to come moving here, and we want to manage that growth in a way that the community wants to see it grow, so that you don't end up in 20 years wondering how you got here.
And from what you say, obviously there's been a lot of effort put into this to get input from the community, so that it's not just necessarily you guys who are involved in city government, but the community in general apparently has had some input into this, have they not?
Yeah, that's the appropriate way to do it. That's how it should be done. It should really be citizen-driven, not necessarily just the elected officials and staff and maybe some chosen few of the population. We really needed to see the entire population and get everybody's feedback to see what issues are facing all different populations of the city. So as Winston indicated, we did mailers directly to everybody's household. We've done a series of public meetings. We had an online survey that 1,200 residents completed, which
That's
is a
pretty
significant,
significant.
considering we only have a population of a little over 20,000. So really, we want to hear from everybody, and I think we did. So the draft plan that the consultants formulated, because we were at all those meetings, really does reflect the input from the community.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the things, maybe things that were even surprising to you, some of the things that you heard from the public that, as they commented on what they thought this community should look like in 20 years?
Sure, absolutely. Well, one of the things we continue to hear is the need for sidewalks and greenways and green spaces. That's very attractive, and as you know, can benefit a community long term in terms of building an attractive place to live. I'd also say probably some of the neighborhood developments. Some of the new, one of the biggest changes is going from a land use map for our future development to a place types map. And I'll let Mary speak a little bit on place types.
Yeah, right now the land use map has the city divided into different sectors and then different zoning districts, where in this area you can only have houses and duplexes, and then here you can only have houses, and here you can only have certain commercial uses. Under the place types map, those uses will be expanded. So instead of a given area, say north of downtown, right now you could only do duplexes and houses. Well, under the place types maps, you can do duplexes, townhomes, houses, and apartments. So a lot of times as city planner, I'll get calls from people wanting to buy an older house or a couple older houses, and unfortunately under the current plan and code, I say you can only rebuild another house, whereas they're wanting to do like a small apartment building or a small duplex, which the community's indicating that they want to see a variety of housing types, more apartments, more townhomes, more duplexes. So the place types plan will kind of broaden out all the different options for uses to kind of better reflect the market or what people are interested in developing.
Go ahead, Winston.
Well, I was so the plan does a lot, covers a lot of ground. It gives a lot of technical advice for how to plan future developments. But it also looked at did a housing analysis. It did an analysis on event spaces. It did a baseline economic development analysis, and then what was the one I'm missing? So yeah, and looking at it also looked at our demographics. So just for example, the changing demographics in Tullahoma right now, the median income is around $41,000, average income is $68,000, and then the housing, it showed there was a need for all levels of housing, and so we want to work on providing that housing for the entire community, not just apartment housing or just single family houses, but housing that not only can take all levels of work, for the workforce we need. There's a lot of jobs that are going to be coming into Coffee County. A lot of those people are going to move into the Tullahoma area, and so we want to make sure we have the available housing that's needed.
Now, are you able to, as a government entity, affect how that comes about, how that happens when we have diverse kind of housing needs, for instance, are you able, through zoning and that kind of thing, be able to affect who builds those kinds of structures and stuff?
I would say yes. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, through the zoning regulations, which again implement the plan, we can pre-zone pieces of property, so they're already in the development community. You call it shovel ready. So it's shovel ready. The zoning's already in place. Everything's ready to go. It's just a matter of pulling permits. And then what type or what level of housing, be it low-income apartments or high-income apartments, is based on the market of that given sector.
Right.
The market rate.
Right. Well, you guys probably are pretty excited about that since you see it every day. You're probably pretty excited about making these kind of plans this far in advance and being able to put all this thought and effort into developing a game plan for how this is going to happen.
Well, absolutely. And, I think for both of us, one of the most exciting parts of it is the community input, because if it's not a community plan, it won't be successful. And so getting that together and putting this together for the community to work from. And so that's why it's so important that we're asking for the community's input. And the way you can give us that input is go to tullahomatn.gov. And if you just search Think Tullahoma 2040 on the tullahomatn.gov, you'll come up and you'll be able to download the draft plan. There's also a comments link there where you can input any comments that you may have. And you can always contact us by phone, and we're willing to talk to you, or you can come down. We have a printout of it at our offices at 321 North Collins, and we'll do whatever we can to accommodate the community's input.
Okay, exciting times, guys.
Yeah.
Really, and Mary is smiling about this. I think she's excited about being involved in this.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but I think we're ready for it.
Absolutely.
I find it amazing that probably 40 years ago we were talking about building sidewalks, and we want more sidewalks, and we still are. Apparently the public still wants that.
Right, and that's addressed not only in like the livability part of the plan, but also in the mobility part. People want complete streets where there's the ability for all types of travel.
Right.
And that's important.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and there's a significant part of the population that has to walk just for their daily needs. They walk or ride their bike to and from work. We don't have really a bus service here, just as far as daily routing bus service.
Right.
Cabs. So a lot of people rely on having to walk to and from work, walk to and from shopping, and I think it's the city's responsibility or vital to ensure they can do it safely.
Do you think we went through a period of time where we might have been a little lax in that kind of thing, in considering pedestrian traffic? Or
I don't want to.
Yes. Well, I would say that there may have been all kinds of challenges for not putting that infrastructure in. But as you know, back in the day when they were building these neighborhoods, it was all car-centric.
Yeah.
That's changing now.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Very interesting. I'm glad you guys came by today. Unfortunately, I'm out of time, but again, come back again and keep us posted on this, because I think these are making for exciting times for our community, and they couldn't have gotten any more capable people heading this thing up. I've got to tell you. Thank you so much for coming back. We'll be right back in just a moment, right after this.
Clayton's has been Tullahoma's shoe store for over 120 years, and Florence Hall continues that tradition today. We're the only shoe store in town that starts with measuring your foot to make sure you get the perfect fit in a quality shoe. That includes narrow through wide widths for men, women, and children. Clayton Shoes, the family shoe store you'll love.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
Hi, my name's Bobby Carter, and I'm asking for your vote in the Circuit Court Judgeship of Coffee County, 2nd Division. I grew up in Tullahoma. I attended the Citadel and the University of Tennessee Law School. After that, I served my country as an officer in the United States Navy JAG Corps. Since then, I've been a trial lawyer in Coffee County for the last 25 years. I feel that I have the legal and life experiences to protect the citizens of this county over the next 8-year term. I would appreciate your vote in the May 3rd Republican primary. Thank y'all.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Friends, it's time for a change. Hello, I'm Scott Hansard, Republican candidate for Coffee County Road Superintendent. Our Highway Department is one of the largest departments in Coffee County government, with 640 miles of roads and bridges and budget of $3 million. It's time we start applying for grants. It's time we start using modern road building and maintaining techniques. Friends, it's time for a change. Vote Scott Hansard, Republican candidate for Coffee County Road Superintendent.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Everyone, I'm John Rickman, and
this is Pat Welch, and John, we're here today for segment 46.
Marching right toward 50.
We're marching on.
Pat, you know, I play with a little group called Us, Two, and Him, and I guess that we're most noted for outhouses more than anything else.
That's, some would say that's unfortunate, but that is true, John.
Some people, but no one else has tried to corner that market than us. So,
and you've got a real good fix on it right now.
Oh, I'm proud to live in Coffee County. Those other counties can't compare with us. But I must repeat what's been happening in our county seat. My gosh, it's really causing quite a fuss. Whoa, the interstate is coming through my outhouse. They tell me I'm on their right of way. I'll sell today and I'll get rich, but my path will end at the highway ditch. I'm making my last visit there today. Granny says to cancel Sears and Roebuck. Tell Uncle Joe to hurry up the door. With all this progress coming, we'll change to inside plumbing and shorten up our early morning stroll. Whoa, Uncle Bill has got a case of miseries. Hiking to that outhouse makes him tired. But he'll be a-getting better. He'll be an inside setter when they install that cesspool in the yard. Whoa, the interstate is a-coming through my outhouse. They tell me I'm on their right of way. I'll sell today and I'll get rich, but my path will end at the highway ditch. I'm making my last visit there today. Somebody out at ADC probably did this. Them engineers made 47 surveys. They said to put it there and that was that. They'll bring a big steamroller and flatten my two-holer, but I'll keep right on voting Democrat. Whoa, someday when I am old and tired and weary, some moonlit night I'll wake up feeling strange. I'll finish up my bath and stroll down my old path and wake up in a great big interchange. 'Cause the interstate is a-coming through my outhouse. They tell me I'm on their right of way. I'll sell today and I'll get rich, but my path will end at the highway ditch. I'm making my last visit there today. Oh yes, I'm making my last visit there today. was. It must.
That was magnificent, John.
Well, that's what we cut our teeth on.
Yes, sir.
Is those
Outhouses.
kind of songs,
Yeah.
and about chewing tobacco, about
Being level-headed.
level-headed,
Yeah.
and all that sort of thing.
You know, I've told you a lot of times, I think my favorite song of yours is the one about the gentleman that continued to go to church and sit on the front row even though we couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, he just wanted to know.
But I think my favorite line of any song was the steamroller going over my two-holer.
Of course, a steamroller was several years ago.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But it's still.
It still went over plenty of two-holers,
That's right.
I imagine.
That's right, sir.
Well, let's see, John, that got a little bit of a segue in what we thought we were going to talk about today. We thought we'd talk a little bit today about one and maybe two long-time high school coaches in Middle Tennessee. And it seems like in 40, 50 years ago, tenure of high school coaches lasted a little bit longer now. A lot of places are changing them over every 2 or 3 years, whether they really need to or not. And that lets us remember how fortunate we are to have Coach Olive for as long as we've had. But one, Jim Cartwright was of Columbia Central in the Maury County system, and I believe he was from Nashville and went to DuPont, old DuPont, and he. Some people get him confused with a Jim Cartwright that played at UT, but this one that went to DuPont played at, I believe, somewhere out west, Wyoming or something. Anyway, went to service, came home after the Korean War, and became head coach at Columbia in 1958, and he coached till '83. He had a long tenure and real successful tenure. And he had some of these rural roots, like these gentlemen that were about to lose their two-holer in your song. But he was a character, and I knew him a little bit when I was little time I was coaching at BGA, but he was a really nice guy and share anything with you. And he was he loved school enough to where he liked to go to school, and he could only go to graduate school at MTSU in the summers for the one half of the summer school year, because in the second half he'd already be having coaching responsibilities. But he went every year, and he went long enough to where he got a doctorate. So that means he's going for 20, 25 years before he'd have enough classes to
me, he didn't seem like a doctor.
No. And I was with him one day when somebody came up to him and said, "Jim, why in the world do you want to have a doctorate? What good's that going to do for you?" Because he would tell you to his face he didn't want to go into administration. He just wanted to be athletic director and football coach. And he said, "Well, that's easy." He said, "The people of Columbia have been saying for a long time." He said, I can hear them. He said, "They're saying we need to get rid of that blankety-blank, big-nosed Cartwright." And he said, what I want them to do from now on, after this summer's over with, I've got that doctorate, they're going to have to say, we need to get rid of that blankety-blank, big-nosed Dr. Cartwright. But I can give you a couple of his great stories.
Pat, and let me, I knew him too, and in the student union there at MTSU, he would have a flock of people all around him. He'd be telling stories, and these people just be following me,
John,
included.
they'd be young 25-year-old assistants from, that's my point. It'd be 25-year-olds coaching at some place like Cullioca or something, and they'd be his instructors. Yeah. Would also be sitting at the table, and they're taking notes, look like Weed Hopper taking notes at Confucius's lap there. It was incredible. But he went on, first half of every summer session from the late 50s all the way in the mid 80s, he was there, and he was a legend now, I'm telling you. But I think one of my favorite stories on him is one night he had a new kicker, long kicker for kickoffs. And the guy was a little bit more carefree than Coach Cartwright would have cared to really have normally. And they had this on film, supposedly. Now, I did not see the film, so I can't attest to it, but I know that there's several that claim they saw it. This guy, on the opening kickoff, he starts up to the ball, and he whiffed it. And after he took about 2 steps past the whiff, he just kept on jogging straight about 5 yards, and then he came back around and looped around, and everybody just kind of looked like, what's going to happen now? And he made another run at it and whiffed it the second time. And he just casually went on past and fish hook back, came back around, went to the ball, picked it up and threw it. Picked it up and threw it downfield. And Coach Cartwright soon got it. After flags were going everywhere, of course, he went and got him another kicker. And then they end up getting beat. So Coach Cartwright is really distressed. He gets on the bus late, and the guy's in the middle of the bus, and he said all quarterbacks report to a little extra passing duty tomorrow morning at 10:30 in the morning. And I don't know whether he had to walk home or whether he actually got to ride, but that did not go over real well with Coach Cartwright. We're getting the signal, John, that it's time to quit, so we may have to go to another coach later. But I want to finish with his obituary. He wrote his obituary, and the last sentence, and it was really well done, but the last sentence said he was married for 52 years to a lady who tied with his mother as the two greatest women in the history of American civilization. And I'll tell you, from knowing Coach Cartwright, if he stayed with her for 52 years, she was a great American. and John, that finishes us segment 46.
It was great.
I hope we have some more if management let us come back.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back, and we've talked about Easter a little bit, and I want you to realize that the Easter Bunny has stopped by to see us. I told you that the bunny was going to be at Traders Bank on Friday, Good Friday, but the Easter Bunny came in, looky there, came in early just to stop by and see us, and Easter Bunny, you have to cover a lot of territory, don't you? Is there more than one of you, or is there just one of you, like Santa Claus? Just one? You? Well, I've wondered about, just getting here, coming through here from Shelbyville. Bunnies don't get in a car and get on the highway. They've got to hop through the fields. And I asked the Easter Bunny, what happens if you jump over a fence and get hung up in the barbed wire and tear your fur? And the bunny does very good with sign language. Let me know that Master of Ceremonies, which is a business here in town, takes care of bunny fur. We did not know that. They can help keep bunny fur stitched up. And so every time a rabbit comes through town and needs a little help with their fur and their jacket, I love your jacket. That green jacket's just lovely. And a carrot, nice carrot there, and all of that stuff you can have. You want me to hold that? Okay, you take it back. I'll set it down right here. Garrett is available at Master of Ceremonies, and that's on the Shelbyville Highway. And we want to thank the Farr family, and that's Walter and Cody and Myra, yeah, I can't read this writing here. And they're at 2268 North Jackson Street. Phone number 455-6262. Wow, Monday through Friday, 8 until 4 o'clock. And they don't just fix up bunnies. They have inflatables, they do birthday parties, they have games, tents, tables, chairs, lunch, punch bowls, liners, wedding arches, what else here? Concessions. They have cotton candy. They have skee ball. They have bounce houses, water slides. You don't want to get your fur wet, do you? Obstacle courses, and a photo booth. Well, I think that bunny probably been in a lot of photos. Knows about a photo booth, catering equipment, helium tanks, party supplies of all types, and let's see, tents, just you name it, they've got it. It's a family deal. Myra, Walt, and Cody. And, you know, I remember our buddy Cody was on the football team and used to come to the football shows, and they're right here in town. And for all the bunnies and donkeys and whoever traveling around, I think Santa Claus might even show up if his reindeer have a cut in their leg or something, or sometimes going down a chimney, he might tear the back end out of his Santa suit. He can stop right out there at Master of Ceremonies and get it fixed up. But, it's about time for you to go hopping down the bunny trail. And to end the show today, we will read one more piece from the Easter Omnibus, and this is the Crown of Thorns. And this is the last piece. And you bow your head and hold your hands together there. God's will be done through his one and only Son, offered as a Savior for all of us on earth, concealed from speculation by a virgin birth. He learned, he taught, preached as he walked until the healing of all he passed was done. He tested those in power, sometimes won, sometimes lost. Then at the last he was tortured, then carried his own cross, and crucified at the world's darkest hour. On the third day, triumphantly he rose again. Then alive he ascended to sit at God's hand. So the journey ended that lets us be reborn through the suffering of the one who wore the crown of thorns. Happy Easter. He is risen. See you next week.